Coming up next, I'll give you 5 practices to help you give yourself self-care during the day. And we'll talk about the priority question. We'll take your calls and your chats. And it starts now. Yes, I am coming to you live from Ramsey Studios in Nashville, and you are joining a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to and can do that, and how to get there. You've probably figured it out if you're new to the program. This show is all about you because you were created to contribute through your work. You matter tremendously. Somebody needs you to show up and be you. So you've got to do it. This isn't an option in our mind. This is a duty. And so we are here to walk alongside of you. I'm part coach, part counselor, part cheerleader. You have the answers, I promise. And so we're going to help you get clear so you can get qualified, get connected so you can get started, get promoted so you can get the dream job, to then work like no one else and give yourself away. Those are the 7 stages. What stage are you in? Let's get you to the next stage. 844-747-2577 is the number to jump in. 844-747-2577. Okay, great article from Forbes. I love to share great content with you. And self-care. This is a new buzzword in the workplace. And it's great because you are grinding it out, getting after it, putting a lot of effort into your work. And if you think about how much time you spend at work in a week, a month, a year, in your lifetime, we know it's 90,000 plus hours. For the average American, over their lifetime, 90,000 plus hours at work. And so how do you pour back into yourself so that you can continue to pour out? This is the question. So great article here. Just going to run through this real quick. Volunteer. Try to find a way to volunteer. You may not be able to do this every day, but if you can multiple times during the week, the idea of volunteering could be just in the workplace. Volunteer your time, your talent, your passion, whatever, to somebody else. Give to somebody else. And when you see the direct result of your giving, which is volunteering, it can really give you some juice, give you a real bounce. Number 2, think about your personal finances. Get outside of work for a moment and think about your finances. Most people are dealing with debt in some form or fashion. That's why Ramsey Solutions got started, is to give people financial peace. Meet with a SmartVestor Pro. Go to DaveRamsey.com and get connected with one of our SmartVestor Pros and get a plan for investing after you get out of debt. Pay attention to how you're making progress in your 401k and other strategies. It's a good mindset shift for a moment. Number 3, learn something new. I love this. I mean, this is before you get to work. In your lunchtime, if you're going to sit and eat lunch, every once in a while, go by yourself. Listen to an audiobook. Read something. Learn something new every day. And then find a way to always touch your organization, your personal organization. That leads to your professional contribution. Just look at your day. Hey, am I using my time wisely? Where can I improve my efficiencies? And then finally, the 5th thing they recommend is do something physical, and this is great. I mean, there's always a benefit. You get out and walk a little bit, lift weights, do something physical to release some stress and get those endorphins flowing from a physical standpoint. Those 5 things, really great recommendations there to do on a daily basis. And here's what's going to happen. What you'll see is, again, as you're pouring into yourself and you get some great personal benefits there, it's going to make you healthier and more effective. 844-747-2577 is the number. We'll get to your chat questions momentarily. And don't forget, I'm going to talk about the priority question a little bit later in the program. This is just guaranteed, this question, to help you get super clear on any decision, small, medium, or large. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But first, we go to Green Bay, Wisconsin. Oh, the home of the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. What are you putting your thumbs down? I look over and Nathan is oh, yeah. Oh, this is fun. All right, we'll get to Casey in a minute, but I'm having fun with I was doing my NFL Films voice, Madison, the frozen tundra of Lambeau. And I look over because I'm having fun with it, and Nathan's giving me the thumbs down. I thought, I'm doing something wrong. And no, he's a Viking fan, so the very mention of anything Green Bay irritates him to no end. That is the big rivalry up there.
Oh, yeah. Vikings
and Packers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any idea what the career record is between the two organizations?
It's 50-50 by about a few games.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to know before the end of the show if the Vikings have won more or the Packers. I'd like you to research that, please.
Oh, I can't do that.
Oh, I know you can. All right. That's fun. I love that. Because you have some Packer fans listening, they're going, oh, wait a second. You know what I mean? So I want to be able to tell people where we are in the rivalry. That's big fun. But first, let's see if Casey knows. Maybe Casey knows. Maybe Casey doesn't care at all. But Casey is on the line. Casey, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Thanks, Ken, for taking my call.
You bet. How can I help?
I don't know.
You don't know. Do you even care?
Not really.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Packers-Bears rivalry.
Ooh, Packers-Bears is also a bitter rivalry. All right, very good. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Casey, how can I help you today?
So I started a job about 9 months ago with a new company as a purchaser. I've got about 6 years experience. And after my 120-day review, which went very positively, and I've gotten positive reviews, I received a compensation bump like I was planned. Mm-hmm. But since then, I've received additional work from other areas that they're taking the work away from them because they're not doing what they expect of them. But it's causing more work on my side, and I haven't had any help or anything taken off my plate to try to balance it. Yeah. And I'm just trying to figure out if there's a way to get compensation for that, because I'm salary-based, so the more I work, I don't make any more money.
Yeah. No, I get that. Well, you're just coming off of a really positive review after 9 months and a compensation bump, and because other people are slack a little bit, and they're going, hey, Casey's a rock star, let's get Casey to help us out here. And that's what's happening. But the question becomes, has it been communicated to you that this is a temporary deal? What communication has been given to you on this new additional work?
So this would be permanent as far as I've been told.
Oh, it's permanent. Okay. And so you got to be careful here, because if you go, okay, look, I get it. I'm honored that you think that highly of me, but you've given me additional work. Are you going to give me additional pay? That would not be the way to bring that up, right? Because it's really, you're fresh off of a great review. So I think you go to your, so you've had this conversation with your direct leader. They've told you about this, and did you bring up any concerns?
Well, it was kind of brought up, and I said myself and my boss we were both concerned with the time constraints it would add to my load.
Okay, good.
But they didn't really seem too worried about it.
Right.
My boss.
Right. So your leader knows about it and has the same concerns that you have.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you just got to play it out for right now and see where it goes. I think you got to work within your leadership structure, because that concern has been brought up, and leadership above your boss has said, well, yeah, I get it, but you know what? It's time to buckle up. This is what we got to do. So in this situation, I don't think it's a really good environment for you to be asking for a raise at this point. Let's give it 6 months and let's stay in good communication with your leader. The good news is your direct leader feels the same way you do. So you're not alone in this situation. And so what you're going to have to do is work within the confines of what you're in, and that's with your leader going, okay, let's think through this. I've got some additional responsibilities, but I've also got my existing responsibilities, and let's think this thing through. And if your leader can help you, and they should be able to and should want to, I think you're going to have to try to get some additional help within that structure, that leadership, where can he have somebody else come in? Can he take off some of the responsibilities that you did have and maybe balance things out? That would be where I would start. I'd sit down with him and go, okay, it is what it is now. I'm not thrilled about it, but I am thrilled that I got the raise, and thank you, and I love my working relationship here, but can you help me offload some stuff so that we take care of business? And that would be where I would start. if 6 months, if he says no, there's no way to do that, then I think you do a good job and you really show leadership that you've gone above and beyond. And then you'd like to talk compensation, but I think you're kind of in a situation where you got to prove something first. So that's my take. I wouldn't ask for money is my point. I would not ask for more money right now. I would look for relief.
I wasn't planning on it now either, just with everything going on, and the company's been stretched.
Yeah, I get it. Well, so my point is this. Just hang in there, be a good soldier, but let's see if your leader can help offload some stuff. Has that conversation happened?
No, because they've said in the past that my boss has tried to push for more people to be in the purchasing role. I'm the only direct purchaser. Everyone else is kind of like part of their job, but it's not their direct job.
Right.
To try to get all the purchasing under one area, but they won't hire other people to take over the other responsibilities.
I get it, but I'm not saying hire somebody. I'm saying can we do what they've already done to you, which is they're just adding more to your plate. So I'm wondering if there's somebody else in your team or somebody else that your boss leads that could maybe do some administrative things for you to kind of make your job a little bit more efficient. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'd be digging into. That's all. Because you got support. Yeah, you got support from your leader, so that's where I would go. 844-747-2577. Let's go to Phil in Raleigh, North Carolina. Phil, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken, how are you doing today?
Phil, I'm living the dream, man. What's going on with you?
Not too much. First off, I really thank you for the time taking my call here. Right now, I feel like I'm staring at two right choices.
Good.
A little bit of background is I've spent the last 3 years really improving myself spiritually, physically, and financially, and I'm about at the end of baby step 2, and I'm finally seeing like a light at the end of the tunnel, and all of a sudden seeing all of the possibilities in front of me. And something that's always been on my heart has been military service. And I've started walking down that path and have an option in front of me, which is really attractive. But I also am with a company that I'm in my sweet spot with, and I love the work and I love the people. And there's a big raise coming, and I mean, I just don't know. I've been stewing over this for months, and I'm hoping for a little bit of clarity.
Yeah.
If you could help me with that.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, this is exciting. You're in your sweet spot, and you're about ready to get a big raise. And is that attached to a promotion where you're doing something a little bit more influential? Are you moving up the ladder?
Yes, I would go from being the office manager to the general manager, which is something I've worked really hard for.
And you're staying in your sweet spot too.
Even more into the sweet spot, I think.
Yeah. But what's tugging at you is you want to serve your country.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What if I had an idea that would allow you to do both?
Okay.
All right. So what about National Guard and kind of jumping in that way, and so that you know, assuming that your leadership is on board with that, because obviously there are times where you're going to have to miss work because of that. So this idea is incumbent upon them being okay with it. But as a National Guardsman, you can serve your country in multiple different ways and get some of that military experience and something that you've craved to do, but you're not having to sacrifice and step out of your sweet spot. What are your thoughts on that idea?
That's something I've thought about the National Guard. I've thought about the reserves. But I don't think it's something that's particularly fair to the company, because in the role as general manager, it's not something that they can really
that's fair.
allow.
Good. Okay, let's cross that one off.
Or take that risk.
All right, let's cross that idea off. So tell me the why behind the military service, and then the second part of the question is, what would be the grand vision if you were to just step away from this private sector role and go to the military? What's the end goal? Where would you want to end up 15, 20 years from now?
And that's something that I've been thinking a lot about. Honestly, don't know what the grand vision is. I know that I love serving people, and I've always had like this vision of being able to serve in the military. But I don't know, like 15 years down the line, I want to have a family. I want to have a stable career, and I want to be like happy every day in my work.
Okay, but hold on.
I just don't know.
Well, hold on. So is that in the military or is that out of the military? I mean, you need to be really gut level honest right now to the best of your ability. And I get you don't have it all figured out, but you're giving me an A and a B, and it's starting to feel like A and C.
Okay.
Here's why. Do you see yourself 15, 20 years from now still in the military? If you were to choose the military,
No.
would you? Oh, you'd be back in the private sector.
I don't.
Right?
Yes, I would be back in the private sector. I don't see myself 15 years in the military.
Yeah, so here's the deal. Let's dig into the why. Why have you always wondered, and why have you always thought about military service? What's driving that?
Just a deep desire to be of maximum service to everybody around me, to my community, to my country, just to be of maximum service. And I feel like the military really brings out the way that you can be of maximum service to people in their selection process, both and in the way they push you.
Yeah, but what if...
Does that make sense?
It totally does. But let me shift something. What if it doesn't have to be through the military? What I hear from you is not defend my country. I never heard that. What I heard was serving, and I feel like the military is going to push me and maybe challenge me. So I heard a little bit of a challenge thing in your, I want to get through boot camp and prove that I did it, and I want to go through that car wash of what the military does. But I heard a little bit of that. So I feel like there was about 40% of that. Then there was 60%. I just want to serve to my maximum capability. I want to pour out everything I got. When I get to the end of my journey, I don't want to have anything in the tank. That's what I heard.
Yes, sir. That's exactly it.
So you can do that while being in your sweet spot in your career as a general manager. Then you can do that. You can do that on nights and weekends. And then eventually when you get married and have kids, you can model that for your wife and kids and be a family that's constantly giving of their time and of their talents and of their treasure. So I think, I think about Raleigh, North Carolina, and I go, well, there's got to be tons of ways that you can really give back to the community and serve like crazy, whether it be at food kitchens or helping widows and or the underprivileged, giving of yourself through teaching courses for free. I don't know. I could just think of about 500 million ways that you can volunteer and give fully of yourself. It doesn't require you to go to the military.
And that's absolutely something I've thought about. And honestly, all the possibilities are, like I said, I'm just now hitting the end of baby step 2, and it's like all the possibilities are just bam.
Yeah, I love it, dude. I think it's great. Here's what I'm telling you. I just don't think you need to go into the military to do what it is that you want to do. But am I saying I have a problem with you going to the military? No. But you're leaving a sweet spot position that is going to set you up to make really good money one day, if not right away, correct?
Yes, sir.
I mean, what kind of money are you going to...
There's a ladder on top of that.
That's my point. What kind of money are you going to be making in the GM position?
I'm stepping into about a $30,000 raise up to 92 or so.
Okay, and then 92 could eventually in 2-3 years turn into 6 figures and really go a long
Definitely
way.
Into 6 figures. I'd say within 1 year being 6 figures.
Right, and you're going to be debt free?
Yes, sir.
Single?
Yeah.
Ready to mingle and find that great lady that wants to partner with you in life? And man, listen, I got to tell you something. No. You don't need to go to the military. If you want to go to the military, go to the military. Then you can get back into the private sector. Totally fine with the option. But I'm telling you, it's not necessary. I'd stay in my sweet spot if I were you. That's what I would do. And build a life that is set up for maximum contribution with your finances and your time. Yes, sir. But what a great kid, huh? The future, folks, is bright. Stop throwing the negative shade at the younger generations, please. There's no difference between the younger generation and my generation and generations that have come before me. No difference at all. Yeah, I read all this crap about millennials and all this stuff. Look, let me tell you something. You cannot paint people with a broad brush. You can have some statistics, and I believe in all the stats and the demographics and all that stuff. But there are different societal things that are informing those statistics. But there's still people who care deeply. So, way to go, young man. All right, to the chat room we go. Let's see here. Tiffany writes in, How do I find a career when my passions and skills are just helping people in a wide variety of ways? Well, very simple. When you know your passions and skills, we're going to see where they come together. So what are those skills? You know them, so those are tools that will allow you to then do work, which is passion, that you really enjoy, that will produce a result. So where in the marketplace can you use those talents and passions? It's just simply finding marketplace matches. That's it. So, Tiffany, how do you find a career? You look. And in the process of looking for all the ways that you can help people in a wide variety of ways, your head and heart will begin to align. So this is how you verify. So you're clear. Now let's go verify. Let's go look in the marketplace at all these potential matches, and let's sit down with people. Here's how you do it. Sit down with people that are doing things that you think you're interested in and ask them two things. What's your day look like? Every day, every month, every year, give me an idea of what the majority of your work is involving, and you're going to be processing that information, and your head is hearing all that, and your heart's going to go, ooh, I like that, or I would never want to do that. That's the verifying. And then ask them how they got there. What was their path? And that's more head information that will help your heart decide. That's how you do it. 844-747-2577 is the number to jump in. Chat room is very simple right there next to the screen. Type in your question, be straightforward, simple. And by the way, if you've got a question that you're chatting that's very complex and I don't have the information that I need, you know Madison is standing by. She's sitting right there, 12 feet away. 844-747-2577. Also, for those of you that are on YouTube, we are on SiriusXM and on 51 stations across the nation. For a 2-hour period, I'm on YouTube, and then we go to the radio show. You can call 844-747-2577 from 12 to 2 Eastern. So just call, and we're here standing by. Let's go to Doris. How do I narrow down what my next steps are to changing jobs and careers? Well, again, I wish I knew your particular situation, but how do you narrow down what your next steps are? Well, once you know, presumably, where you want to go now. So I know I want to step now into this job and this career. So then you have to ask yourself, and this is about stage 2. So stage 1 is get clear. Stage 2 is get qualified. So narrowing it down is all about 3 things. What do I need to learn or know, to be qualified? Is there some learning, some qualification, whether it be traditional education or more of like the certification? So what do I need to learn? What do I need to know? What experience do I need? Okay. How much is that going to cost me financially? All right. And those 3 answers determine your timeline, which is how long it's going to take you. So if you're trying to come up with next steps, it's what do I need to learn? Know? What do I need to do? And then how much is that going to cost me financially? That determines your timeline and your next steps. 844-747-2577 is the number. Okay. So give you a very simple process for making decisions. Very simple. So once you're clear, you're ready to make a decision. You cannot make a decision if you're not clear, right? So you've got a decision in front of you. This could be a small thing, a medium-sized thing, a big thing. Let's just keep it really simple for this teaching. And the priority question allows you to have wonderful, wonderful confidence in making the decision. And this is the priority question. It's so simple. It just cuts through all of the clutter. You ready? Here it is. Will this matter years from now? Will this matter years from now? This action I am deciding upon, will it matter? It's like, whoa, wait a second. And see, what this does is it gives you tremendous clarity and confidence because you go, wait a second, I'm about ready to maybe create some confrontation over something that won't matter years from now. It could be a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 30 years from now. You fill it in. The priority question is always with you. Well, somebody is suggesting that I do this, or I'm thinking about doing this. So ask yourself the question, if I do this, if I take this action, will it matter years from now? Now, this is wonderful because let's say it's a small action and you go, why would I take this small action? Wait a second. Don't just look at it because it's small and go, pfft. Ask the question, will it matter years from now? And it might. I can't tell you how many small actions, small decisions that I made that actually mattered years from now. When I looked at it and I go, years later, I look back and I go, oh my gosh, so glad I did that. So it works both ways. It keeps you from doing things you shouldn't do, and it confirms and pushes you forward on things that you need to do. So when you're looking at actions, and boy, oh boy, this becomes really fun in your personal life as well. You going to get upset at your spouse, or you're going to get upset at your kids about something? You're feeling it boil up a little bit? Go, whoa, is this going to matter years from now? It's a wonderful, wonderful little template to just drop over every decision you make. So there you go. You're welcome. Will this matter years from now? All right, before we go back to the phones, if you're just joining us, Nathan, the video producer, is a big Viking fan, and our first caller today was Casey from Green Bay, Wisconsin. And I had some fun with this, and I said, okay, he's calling from the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, and Nathan gave me this ugly look like I said something wrong, and then I realized, oh, he's a Viking fan. And so then I asked Nathan, I said, all right, in the rivalry between the Vikings and the Packers, which organization has got the leg up? Meaning, who has more wins in the rivalry? I said, please find out before the end of the show, because sometimes, folks, I just like to have some fun that have nothing to do with the content of the show. So, Nathan, please tell us what you found out.
So, Vikings have 54 wins to Packers 62.
Ooh.
And 3 ties.
3 ties.
Which is 52 to 48%.
Yeah.
Difference between the two.
So it's really close.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go. That gives Nathan something to get even more upset about because his beloved Vikings are behind in the series, but only 8 wins. Only 8 wins. So that's really close. And 3 ties, which, to be honest with you, Madison, I'm a little surprised they've only had 3 ties. I would think over the years that there would be more ties because these are 2 of the oldest NFL organizations. Been around a long time.
Yeah, but nowadays you don't end in tie.
You do in the regular season.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, I take that back. I'm thinking college football.
Yeah, now you have an overtime session that usually yields a winner.
For the record, Georgia is ahead of Florida, 53-43.
Oh, geez.
So
there we go.
Go Dogs.
Sorry, Nathan. She had to do her little thing, but that is interesting because this is called the world's largest cocktail party, and boy, but it'd be very interesting on the heels of COVID. Will there be fans in the stands?
There'll be fans outside the stands.
Oh,
I know that much.
There'll be people drinking in the parking lot. There's no question about that. So Georgia has the edge. Mm-hmm. What was it again?
53-43 and 2.
Boy. Oh, boy. Now, listen, if you are a listener and viewer of the show, and you've heard me talk about Madison, and you are a Florida Gator fan, I am giving you full permission when you call in, okay, to just give her a little business. Give her some grief. What do Gator fans say? I know Georgia fans say go Dogs. What do Gator fans say?
Go Gators.
That's what they say?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound as good.
Well, to add insult to injury, I went to Florida State.
That is
so
true.
It's a double hatred. But
your dad went to Georgia, so everybody needs to know that she's been baptized in the doctrine of Georgia Bulldogs, even though she went to Florida State. And then there's Joe who wants to say something.
Oh, no.
Nothing?
I was...
You're not going to say Roll Tide?
No, actually, I was over in Georgia for 16 years.
You were. We were in Gainesville, Georgia.
And I enjoyed the Bulldogs very much.
Yeah.
But Roll Tide.
Yeah, I do. There it is. All right, so now everybody's got their little contribution, and we've had a little bit of fun today. Here's something fun. Here's what we're going to do. If you're watching right now and you're a college football fan, in the chat room, throw your phrase out, whatever your phrase is. So for Michigan fans, it's Go Blue. All right, that's our thing. We see each other all around the world and we go Blue, and they say go Blue back. And so Georgia fans say go Dogs. Nathan, you're not a college guy. You're only a Viking fan.
That's right.
What do Vikings fans say to each other?
We say Skol, S-K-O-L.
Really?
Yep.
This
Viking
is a thing?
Mm-hmm.
Like you run into each other on the sidewalk and you say skull?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that. See, this is why college football is superior to pro football. It just is. The rivalries are much better. All right, there we go. Every once in a while, folks, we will just talk about absolutely nothing because we want to. So there you go. All right, Andrew's up next in Spokane, Washington. Andrew, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken, thanks for taking my call.
You bet. Andrew, are you a college football fan?
Not really.
Okay, very good. All
My
right,
team's really bad, so.
I get it. All right, moving on. How can I help you today?
Hey, so I'm, it's kind of maybe an odd question. I'm a veterinarian working at a practice here in Spokane, and I'm interested in someday opening my own operation. But as you probably know with medical practices in general, the way that that's generally done is with debt, because you're talking about, $500,000+ to find a space, renovate a space, etc. So I'm curious if you have any suggestions on how one might go about doing something like that in a non-traditional way without borrowing money. And then two, if there's maybe an idea of a way I can stage that to do some maybe side work before I launch a full operation.
Yes and yes. I have an idea. I don't know if it's going to be good, but here we go, Andrew. Because of two things. Let me give you some context before I pitch the idea, okay? Number one, in 2020, it is a very normal thing for mobile services. It just is. Food trucks, people coming to your house, it's just a normal thing. It's no longer this weird idea. And then also because of COVID, I think it's also even ushered in more willingness to say, hey, you know what? Delivery of food, delivery of everything coming to me. It was because of COVID at first, but I think it's created more and more of a desire for people to say, hey, I'm willing to pay maybe even a little extra for convenience. So I think you know where I'm going. I would get a van. Because I think that's less expensive and you can cash flow your way through it. And I think if they can do food trucks, you can do vet trucks. And I'll tell you why I'm saying this. Because the gal who does our dog's grooming, I have two doodles. I've got a Labradoodle, Riggins the Labradoodle, and Ellis the Golden Doodle. And the gal who grooms them, we really like, and she basically got priced out of her place. And so she was like, okay, you're going to keep jacking my rent? I'm out. And you know what she did? She bought a van. And she comes to our house. She comes in and gets each dog. She takes them into the van, and she's got everything set up to groom them, wash them, the whole 9 yards in the van. So I don't know why. I mean, there might be some things you can't do. There might be some x-ray things. You know your world better than me, but I got to tell you, if you created some partnership maybe with a pet hospital or something, I figured the way to figure this out. But I just wonder if you couldn't do most basic services outside of emergencies and surgeries. Could you not do basic checkups and things like that and get this thing started on the side and get to a point where you cash flow your way into a place eventually, but you build it by doing it mobile?
And that's kind of what I've looked at. There actually is a mobile business model, but if, what you're looking at is, there's these facilities that build out these really extravagant vans with everything. You could offer a full service vet, and that's not necessarily what I would do.
No, but start small.
But yeah, I like your idea. Get something small, kind of build it out, to do some stuff in the van. One of my challenges just with me personally is I'm disabled, so I can get around, but I have trouble with stairs. So my thought was, hey, I'll just go into people's homes, do the services, and be done with it. But I worry about getting around. So I think having the idea of maybe doing a van, getting some staff to help out on a day that I'm doing the work, and they run and get the animal, we do the work, and
well, listen, if I'm a pet owner and you're coming to my house, I have no problem walking Riggins and Ellis out to your van. I have no problem doing it.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Huh?
You don't have to.
I guess that sounds like a really good plan. I worry because it's like I can't offer someone a full-time job, but I do need help, so it's like, how do you find someone for 1 or 2 days of work? I think you just ask around.
Pretty simple.
I know a lot of people.
Pretty simple, yeah. Yes, you answered your own question, but let's be more specific. What about you got these veterinary students and people that want to get into it, and they just need some experience while they're getting qualified, and they can do really small stuff for you, and they can pick up 10, 15 hours a week, make a little money, and they're getting some valuable experience that'll help them get hired. That's one thing.
That's
the
true.
other thing, what about just young people who love pets? Or what about people that are looking for just a side hustle? They're just looking for some extra money, stay-at-home moms or whatever, and they love dogs, and you just need an extra set of hands. I mean, I just think it's a lot easier than you realize. There are so many people that love pets, and if you gave them a really cool gig where they could get 15, 20, 30 hours a week, eventually 40 hours a week as you grow this, and they're your extra set of hands, so they go inside, they greet the customer, and they bring them to the van or whatever, and you're not having to go up and down steps. I mean, I just think long-term, this is the way to get you to where you can cash flow and not get debt.
Well, I've kind of started the ball rolling on that, so I feel validated, at least in doing that. I just need to be creative. I keep putting up these roadblocks, like, I can't go into their houses because I can't go up the stairs, or I can't do this because I don't have staff to help. So I think if I just move past some of these roadblocks and just
I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you on something. I love that you're thinking through the roadblocks, but only think through them so that you come up with a solution. Don't keep coming up with the reasons why you can't do it. Stop talking that way. Start going,
okay,
what are the challenges that I might face? That's different than, what are the roadblocks to me not being able to do this?
Okay, yeah.
Just what are the challenges? Think about it that way, and then innovate around it. But is there any bigger challenge than what you've already given me? Feels like you gave me the biggest one, which is you walking up and down steps.
No, I mean, there's the aspect of I currently work full time at my current job, and I also have 3 kids, and so commitment, time commitment. That's always the tough thing. Is this is going to be on my days off? So working around that at home of being gone more than I already am.
I get it.
Like that's a season,
But that's it. You nailed it. But hey, here's the deal. Let's deal with that challenge. So we're only going to give it 15 hours. I'm making this up. We're only going to give it 15 hours a week anyway, right? So we go, what would that then look like? Well, that means you could do Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, or you could do Tuesdays and Thursdays nights, and then you can do Saturday mornings from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. And that's your block. And so the family knows that. And so family activities and other things are scheduled around that. And then those are your blocks. And that's what you offer people. I got to tell you, as a pet owner, I don't really care when you get it done. If you come by my house at 7 o'clock at night and I don't have to worry about anything, and you show up and Riggins and Ellis go out there and they come back in all healthy, got their shots and everything, what do I care? I'm sitting in the living room with my feet up. So again,
some people prefer the off-hour services because they, it's like you can't ever get to the bank when you have a full-time job because they're always open during the time that you're working.
Brother, you nailed it. That's what makes you more attractive. Wait a second, I don't have to get on the phone and talk to the vet and try to find an appointment at 11 a.m. to take Rover in. No, you're coming to me. I love it, man.
Sure.
It's house calls. They did this back in the old days with doctors. By the way,
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was getting ready to riff. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't have any money either to spend on this, so I'm just kind of trying to, I've got a couple people who called me already, and I'm just trying to only take appointments where I have the equipment that I need, and as I take more of those appointments, then I can start to afford, some pieces of equipment or things along those lines.
Andrew, be careful. You're actually solving your own challenges. Look at you thinking your way through this. Joe, I'm going to tell you something. Here's where I was going to go. I think if I'm a doctor or somebody who wants to be a doctor, I think this is the future for doctors too, because of the insurance and stuff like that. I think there is a viable model for house calls and a cash only thing where you publish your rates. You need a physical, this is what it costs. You got a cold, this is what it costs. And people just know, and they can cash flow their way through it. And they're like, they don't need to file an insurance claim all the time. And doctors could make a really nice living and not have to deal with all the insurance crap. And they've got a clientele of 500. They got 250 families, 500 patients. I'm telling you, Joe. The world is shifting, man, and I think we with technology and apps and small business owners can really create their own niche and their own clientele and really circumvent the system. I love Andrew. I love that he's thinking this way. I think he's going to be very successful. I'll tell you right now, I wish he was in Williamson County Because I'd hire him right now. I would drop our vet. Our vet is charging me through the stinking nose. And we got to do the same thing. We got to find a time, and it's during the workday, and we got to take Riggins and Ellis in there. No, come to my house. My groomer does. There you go. All right, Joe. Hey, I want to say big thanks to everybody for listening. And remember, you can catch the show on SiriusXM, your local radio station, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Hey, you matter. You have what it takes. Press on.